What's up, everybody? Tomorrow we get Season 2 of Black Ops 7 and Warzone, and so, of course, that means the patch notes came out today. Call of Duty gave us the patch notes for Season 2 for both Black Ops and Warzone on separate pages. So, we'll link the both below. Today, we're just going to talk about Warzone because that's what we talk about here. Also did a video on the Intel drop. I'll link that video and that blog post down below as well. Sorry for the bit of a late upload here, but just been busy today and low-key thinking about shifting away from doing patch notes and Intel drops and stuff, but we're doing them for now, so we're going to do it. Before we do it, also link down below is my Twitch. I won't be live tomorrow night, but I'll try to be live tomorrow afternoon, at least on multiplayer, leveling up the new guns, if not jumping into some Warzone. Just got stuff to do tomorrow night, but maybe we'll at least check out a few games of Snowy Rebirth Island that's coming. But Twitch is linked down below. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, single player channel, and car, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube channels are all linked down below if you want to support me here, there, or anywhere. It is, of course, very appreciated. Any support anywhere always is. But let's go ahead and scroll through these patch notes. We don't really care too much about events. You get camos and stuff. Ricochet anti-cheat is now supposed to be able to detect Cronus's and Zims. We'll see. For ranked player requirements, it's TPM, secure boot, stuff like that. They're now going to be able to try to track teaming, which has obviously been an issue, especially in ranked. So enemies suspiciously sharing cash currency, botting behavior detection, and anti-teaming behavior detection. You can read more of that if you want. Like I said, this will be linked down below. Winter Rebirth, we're not going to focus too much on it. That was focused more on the Intel drop, but Rebirth is getting covered in snow. There's new points of interest. Turbine, Outpost, refine the biometric scanner experience with replaced loot probabilities, clearer gameplay cues, and cleaner, more readable interface. Scanner placement visuals have been updated. Rewards are now simpler and more tailored to the player, and unnecessary randomness has been removed, keeping the core experience intact while making it more consistent and rewarding. Infelt gas explosions, random POIs are going to get filled with the toxic gas that normally closes in on you and then clear out as the game moves on. Snowstorm gas, the gas that normally closes into you is now snowstorm. The smart displays that are on the sides of buildings can now be found in more locations across the map. Display when a black EXE card has been given, top scorer of the match, player with the most limbs, and POI with the highest player density. And then something called Cradle Fractures is coming. For modes, once again, not going to harp too long on that. We talked about an Intel drop. Loaded Resurgence. You load in with your loadout, and perks can be earned through eliminations. They're going to also have that in casual. And then Rush Resurgence is going to be on Rebirth Island as a weekend-only LTM with 32 players total instead of 44. That's going to come in week 3, but it's going to also have quicker gas circle movement. So that way the games move faster, and they estimate roughly half the time of a standard Resurgence game. Then they're also going to have an Iron Gauntlet mode in beta, which unfortunately is only going to be duos. And it's, they're going to have a beta for, I think, the first week. It's an evolution of Iron Trials, accelerated circle collapse, rare high tier loot, increased player health, no free loadout drops, no gulag second chances. So you just get the one gulag. With fewer safety nets and higher consequences for mistakes, every engagement demands confidence and precision. As announced in our previous competitive blog, this mode will be made available during a limited window later in Season 2. Oh, I thought it was coming week 1. We'll share more details, including mode settings and restrictions in the coming weeks as we draw closer to the planned live dates. The live dates right now are March 5th through 9th, so it's about a month. We've decided to separate Iron Gauntlet from ranked play to give each experience the space it needs to thrive. By keeping ranked play more focused and stable, we're able to support a clearer competitive avenue while using Iron Gauntlet as a space to explore fresh ideas and push the boundaries of high-skill battle royale. When the mode goes live, we'll be actively listening to your feedback and closely reviewing in-game data across all aspects of the mode, including squad size, player count, pacing, weapon balance, time to kill, and overall match flow. Ultimately, our goal is to use Iron Gauntlet as a proving ground for ideas to help us navigate creative decisions as we seek out the most rewarding competitive battle royale experience possible. We're excited to see how this first iteration of the mode is received, and to take in feedback, we need to adjust the mode for future seasons. My only complaint, since we haven't played it, is it's duos. I think it should be trios like ranked is. So here's your playlist. for the first week of the season. Solo, duo, trios, quads, regular BR, quads, casual. Solos, duos, quads, resurgence, and quads, resurgence, casual. Loaded resurgence, quads, and ranked play is your trios, resurgence mode. Ranked play, we're not going to cover that stuff. Ranked is about the same as it will always be, but like I said, I'll have this link down below if you want to look at the ranked stuff, like rewards, rule sets, etc. The general pre-match utility box, well, I've added utility box for players spawning during pre-match. New win streak camos, it's still 10 and 25 for BR and 30 and 50 for resurgence, but they're going to have new camos. I'm not too concerned. Here's the static camos, and then here is the animated camos. I'm never touching those. I think my longest Battle Royale win streak is like 5, and that wasn't even when nukes were active. And resurgence is probably like 5 or 6. So I'm not touching those camos, and most players probably will not. Kill streak restrictions now reflect individual call-ins, reducing issues with multiple streaks being used at the same location. Players should see airspace crowded less often. However, players will see you're at your active limit when attempting to immediately call on the same kill streak again. It's really annoying when you're trying to fight a team who is fighting another team and the other team calls in an airstrike or a cluster strike and then you can't call one in. Or if one's near your area and now you can't call one in where you want to call it on a different team. New kill streak, smoke screen, bombardment that deploys smoke in a line, and the RCXD is coming to Rebirth only. Can be found in the loot pool. Thank God that is only on Rebirth Island, because I'm not loving that. Now advanced UAVs need 4 combined UAVs, not 3, to get a map-wide advanced, which is fine. Cluster strike, missile time, travel time reduced, resulting in strikes now arrive 1.75 seconds faster. That's good because they're almost useless for fulling a down enemy. Napalm strike, explosive damage increased, explosion radius increased, individual bomb spread increased, fire patch damage now deals 100 damage per second while standing in fire. Fire patch length increased and fire patch width increased. So napalm strikes, which are kind of a useless streak, should be a lot better. Precision airstrikes. Airstrikes will strike the target location 1 second faster. Also a good change, so they're actually useful. Sucks when they're used against you, but... Field Medic, we won't harp on the perks too long because we did that in an Intel Trop video, but the Field Medic improves reviving speed and resistance to equipment effects. So you revive others 25% faster. Your bleed out duration is increased by 25%. When you revive another player, they automatically equip 1 armor plate and gain 5% movement speed for 3 seconds. When you're revived, you automatically equip 1 armor plate and gain 5% movement speed for 3 seconds, and you get resistance to flash, concussion, gas, and shock equipment effects, and that replaces Veteran. Drill Instructor, which replaces Grenadier, improves health regen while sprinting and enhances nearby ally movement. This is a hand-holding perk. Unfortunately, after sprinting for more than 1 second, health regen begins. That's not the hand-holding part. The hand-holding part is you and allies within 25 meters gain 3% movement speed and 15% faster mantling. This buff persists for 10 seconds after leaving the radius. Drill Instructor effects do not stack with other drill instructors, so you only need one teammate running it. And 25 meters is not like inside of each other stacked, but it's still pretty close. 25 meters is, you know, at least it's it's like a building's width. So it's not completely stacked, but it does encourage stacking, unfortunately. Surveyor is replacing Cold-Blooded. It improves map awareness and reveals enemy activity. When nearby enemies within 120 meters use a buy station to pick up a contract, they appear on your map. UAVs activate... when UAVs you activate have a 25% larger radius and your minimap is zoomed out by 20%, and downed enemies are visually outlined through walls within 40-meter radius. Of any of the 3 perks to really take a spot in the meta, I'm guessing it will be Surveyor, mostly. Maybe Field Medic, especially in Ranked. And then Drill Instructor, I just hope no one uses it. Scavenger, they remove the cash from the Scavenger bag, which I think is... good. They said it's become a necessity. I don't really know that many people that run it. Loot and Economy Care Package added the Smoke Screen Kill Streak to the Care Package loot pool. Stim Shot replaces Smoke Grenades. C4 replaces Claymore. And Decontamination Station replaces Warcry. Okay, because I haven't found any decon stations in Season 1. And I would like to be able to find smokes, but I've been running stims, so I'm fine with just finding stims, and I have no opinion on C4 and Claymores. Updated lootable perks, legendary chests, you can find Tracker, Shrouded, Alertness, and Surveyor. Contract rewards, you can get Tracker, Alertness, Tempered, and Reactive Armor. Buy stations, the cost of UAV at buy stations has increased from 6,000 to 8,000. So instead of 18,000 to get an advanced UAV, it's now 32,000. That's a pretty significant increase. Spawn locations in BR have been re-randomized. That's nothing we're unfamiliar with. As long as they keep Superstore buy, the 2 train station buys, and 1 of the 2 hospital buys, any buy is fine with me. Redacted contracts on Rebirth, you just don't know if they're a scavenger or recon or bounty, and then the cash payout is increased. And then the recon contract cash payments have been reduced in all modes. Let's see, new weapons, the Rev 46 machine gun SMG, the EGRT 17, which once again, we're not going to spend that much time on new weapons and attachments because we did that in the intel drop. The H311 SAW, those 3 are your battle pass weapons, and then the GDL Havoc, which is a pump action grenade launcher, comes in a weekly challenge. The S12 shotgun is going to come as an event mastery reward. Then we have the Titan Wield, which allows you to dual wield the XM325 LMG, which is going to be a weekly challenge reward. The Fang Hover Point Elo, which is an optic, will be a weekly challenge reward. The ARC M1 Assault Frame, which is like a underbarrel attachment for the ARC M1 launcher, is a weekly challenge reward. The Razor 9mm Wildfire Conversion Kit for the Razor 9mm increases fire rate and bullet velocity. That is also a weekly challenge reward. Now we have weapon adjustments. So for weapon adjustments, they said the Season 2 balance update targets several core objectives: enhancing AR's effectiveness at long range, making the FMJ attachment more compelling option for ARs, it's just never, and boosting overall competitiveness among SMGs. We also adjusted underused attachments to provide greater build diversity. The only time FMG has ever been good was on Urzikstan, on a couple LMGs and ARs, because nothing that should have been wall bangable on Urzikstan was wall bangable. But FMG, 14% bullet damage range, bullet velocity, and 10% increased flinch and penetration damage remains the same. Hey, more damage range, bullet velocity does actually make FMJ a little more interesting. So the AK-27 had its long range damage buffed. And then Saber Pack heavy drum reload time improved. 17-inch bistro barrel horizontal recoil benefit improved. EMT3 compensator vertical recoil benefit improved. Chronos heavy grip aim down sight speed penalty decreased. Horizontal recoil control benefit improved. And then the FMJ. The AK-27 is a challenging weapon to master due to its recoil. These changes aim to reward players who can stay on target at longer ranges with a more competitive TTK. The DS-20 Mirage just had attachment changes. The Griffin Reserve extended 2 mag reload speed improved. 18.9-inch Westerly's barrel bullet velocity penalty reduced. Horizontal recoil control benefit improved. Aim down sight move speed benefit improved. Sapper guard hand stop movement. I'm just going to tell you if they were buffed or nerfed. Sapper guard hand stop movement speed, sprint speed buffed. Redwell carry on stock aim down sight speed buffed. Stratagem tight stock aim down sight sprint to fire buff. And then the FMJ buff. The M15 Mod 0, which was the meta at the end of the season, all of its damage range damages and ranges were all nerfed. And then it did not get the FMJ buff, which is interesting. But the Bow and Bulwark mag reload time improved. The Maddox RFB, which is probably second place in the meta at the end there, had its recoil deviation reduced, vertical recoil reduced, horizontal recoil reduced, and bullet velocity increased. And its mandible extended mag reload speed buffed. 21-inch turbine booster barrel horizontal recoil buffed. Redwell 556 compensator vertical recoil buffed. RL 556 brake vertical recoil buffed. Horus accuracy grip horizontal recoil buffed. Aim down sight speed buffed. And then the FMJ buff. The Maddox RFB will probably be the AR meta unless the new AR is meta. The MXR 17 had its longest range damage buffed. Its bullet velocity buffed. Its Rhodes drum mag reload time buffed. Its 18-inch rapid Sterling barrel had bullet velocity medium damage range 1 and horizontal recoil control buffed. 17-inch Greaves Scourge barrel had bullet velocity benefit improved. Redwell 90 compensator had its vertical recoil control benefit buffed. Recoil sync unit recoil control benefit buffed. And then the FMJ buff. Right now I'm thinking that this is probably going to slide back into number 2. unless the DS20. Your top 3, unless the new AR slides in, will be the Maddox, and then either the DS20 or the MXR. Then the Peacekeeper had its longest damage range damage buffed. Its horizontal recoil and vertical recoil buffed. This could maybe sneak in there. I still think it's more of a sniper support. Barrage Extended Mag had its reload time improved. Vagrant 93 stock had its aim down sight improved. Pathfinder Scout stock had aim down sight and sprint fire speeds improved. EAM Steady 90 grip had its movement speed and sprint speeds buffed. Sentry Pro Handstop had its horizontal recoil control buffed. 19.4 inch Stimulus Barrel had its aim down sight speed buffed. And then it got the FMJ buff. So the Peacekeeper has struggled at longer ranges due to its high recoil. These changes make it more manageable at range while rewarding players who can stay on target with a more competitive TTK. And then finally, the X9 Maverick had its 16-inch OS density, barrels, reload speed, and bullet velocity improved. The Hawker 472 compensator vertical recoil control benefit improved. Nova Burst brake vertical recoil control benefit improved, and the FMJ buff. Moving on to SMGs, the Carbon 57 had its medium damage range pushed out, and then had the upper torso and arm multipliers increased from 0.9 to 0.95. Had the 8.5 inch VAS Radiant Barrel aim down sight speed and move speeds buffed. Do set control grip, horizontal recoil control, and aim down sight speed buffed. Bowen Resolute Pad had its aim down sight speed buffed, and Heavy Bound Pad had its aim down sight speed and aim down sight speed movement speed buffed. The Dravik 45, which I think might take over the meta, this or the Carbon, had all of its damage ranges buffed as well as its medium damage range damage. Its upper torso and arm multipliers buffed as well. I think this or the Carbon will take over the SMG meta unless the new one does, of course. 16.5 inch Predator Barrel had bullet velocity and medium damage range 1 benefits buffed. Delta Axis Grip had the horizontal recoil control and aim down sight speed buffed. The Hawker Stabilizer MK2 had its vertical recoil control benefit improved. The Kogot, which was the meta, had its closest damage range damage buffed. Maybe this gets back into the meta, but with the bullet location buffs of the first two, I still think those will take over. The Hawker 9 Brake had its vertical recoil control benefit improved. The EMT3 Vulpine Grip had its horizontal recoil control and aim down sight speeds buffed. Then on the Raiden 45K, aim down sight speed buffed and rate of fire buffed as well. The attachment adjustments, 11-inch GRL Barrel had its aim down sight and aim down sight move speeds buffed. Skeletonized Grip had its horizontal recoil control and aim down sight buffed. The VAS Interlock stock had its aim down sight move speed, aim down sight speed, and recoil control buffed. Then the Sturmwolf, I thought it was Sturmwolf. Isn't it Sturmwolf? Whatever. Sturmwolf, whatever. Had all of its ranges reduced. Now, it didn't have its damages reduced, but it had its headshot multiplier reduced, arms multipliers reduced, and lower torso and leg multipliers decreased. So you combine that with less range. I don't think this will be like unusable, but I don't think it will be the meta anymore. I think it'll be the Dravik or the Carbon unless the new SMG takes over. But knowing that, the Sturmwolf could still be the meta. Echo 12 Shotgun, Echo Modified Choke, aim down sight bullet, pellet spread buffed. The M10 Breacher had sprint to fire and aim down sight speed improved, and attachments 17-inch overload barrel aim down sight pellet spread improved, and Breacher precision choke aim down sight pellet spread benefit improved. Moving on to LMGs, MK78 had its damage ranges pushed out, flinch resistance improved, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed, and aim down sight movement speed all improved. The attachment adjustments, RL762 compensator had its vertical recoil control benefit improved. 20-inch Mach 78 barrel had its horizontal recoil control benefit and bullet velocity improved. Bowen Sentry foregrip had its horizontal recoil control benefit improved, and LTI Precision Grip also had its horizontal recoil control benefit improved. The XM325, which will soon be able to dual wield, had its close range damage buffed, and then had vertical and horizontal recoil buffed, recoil deviation buffed, lower torso and leg multipliers, bullet velocity, and aim down sight speed all buffed. Finally, moving on to the marksman rifle, the M8A1 Auto Strike X8 conversion had its minimum damage increased, reload speed improved, recoil deviation reduced, horizontal and vertical recoil reduced, and bullet velocity increased. And then everything default loadouts, not too worried about. Gulag loadouts, the Rev 46, the new SMG, replaces the Razor 9. Then the kill cams will now show health and armor of the attacker. And I don't think there's any real big important the favorite supply box on Resurgence giving you fists and not your custom loadout. It's actually an important one. But I don't think there's any like huge other bugs fixed. Yeah, there's no other huge like bugs fixed. But those are the things in the patch notes coming. LMGs just move too slow to ever really be in the meta, so I'm not too concerned with them. Once again, if the new weapons aren't in the meta, either the Carbon 57 or the Dravik will probably be the meta for SMGs, and then for ARs, I'm thinking it can't be anything other than the Maddox, since the Maddox was already in second and didn't get any nerfs. Well, the M15 got nerfed into the ground. The MXR buff is certainly interesting, but the Maddox is just easier to shoot. Saint Mirage buffs on the attachments are interesting, but it didn't get a buff itself like the Maddox did. So I think Maddox and then either Dravik or Carbon will be the metas if it's not the new weapons. But those are the patch notes. Those are my thoughts on them. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you like Warzone or Apex content or game review content. And thank you again so much for watching. I will see you on Verdansk, Haven's Hollow, and a snowy Rebirth Island. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.